Hey everybody, it's Dave Dugdale, learningvideo.com. So after many years of talking about it, I finally did it just a few minutes ago. I downgraded my Adobe $50 a month plan down to $10 a month, so I don't have Premiere Pro anymore. All I have is Lightroom and Photoshop, which are the things I do use on occasion, and I really like to have those. But Premiere Pro has been replaced with Blackmagic's DaVinci Resolve. Actually, not the light version. I just purchased a used version on eBay from a gentleman in California. I paid $390, I believe, for a little dongle. It's in the back of my computer. And now instead of having the free version, I've got the studio version. So it means I've got the noise reduction, which actually works really well. I was just trying it out. And it's got like lens correction, it's got lens flares, and a bunch of other things. All right, so I am no expert at editing, and I'm not an expert at color grading. So I'm not saying you should follow my lead here. This is a very personalized choice. I mean, there's so many different parameters that go into this. For instance, if you work with After Effects a ton and you round trip all the time, it totally makes sense to be in Premiere Pro. And if you don't want to learn Fusion, which is free, or you can get the paid version of Fusion, which is somewhat of a After Effects replacement. I haven't used it much, so I can't even talk about it that intelligently, but there are other options there. But if you're, you know After Effects so well and you're round tripping, Resolve doesn't make any sense for you. All right, I am not a Hollywood editor and I don't work on Hollywood films for color grading, so you gotta take this with a grain of salt. I am no expert here, but I'm gonna give you my opinion of why I switched and the reasons why. Basically, it came down to one word: S-Log. Yes, S-Log, which is a pain in the butt to get right in Premiere Pro color tab. And speed grade is basically non-existent. They're not doing anything with it over at Adobe. That's just gathering dust, and they seem to be applying all their efforts to the color tab in Premiere Pro, where S-Log is very fast for me to grade in Resolve. So it comes down to time and performance and how fast you can edit and things like that. And if you're doing S-Log, you pretty much have to grade it. You can apply a LUT. I don't usually use LUTs. I usually do it by hand. Each clip is kind of different, so I have to grade them somewhat differently. So for me, it came down to speed. And let me see if I can break this down for you. So Premiere Pro versus Resolve, and when you ingest the material, like bring it into it, Premiere Pro, you can edit 4K footage right away. With Resolve, you pretty much have to optimize the data, or optimize the media, sorry, before you can start editing 4K footage. 1080, they both work great. I'd say they're on a level playing field, but when you're using like an A7R2, A7S2, and you're shooting 4K footage, it's a very different story in terms of performance. And what happens is, and I'm no Kodak expert here, is when you park your playhead in different locations on that particular Kodak, and it's not an all-eye Kodak, it's not a uncompressed or edit-friendly Kodak. It basically, when you park the playhead on a certain place of the timeline, and if not the correct type of frame, I don't know what type of frame it actually is, but if it's on the wrong type, you can wait like 4-5 seconds before it'll actually start to play after you hit, the play spacebar. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes a long time. So that can really eat at your creativity, because it's like, I can't edit this. I don't feel like editing a whole bunch of stuff because it's just going to take too long. But with Resolve, what you can do now, and I finally got it working this morning correctly, is you can optimize the media, basically transcode it, whatever you want to call it. And it's all done within Resolve, and it's all done very nice and neat. You just basically select all the clips. In this case, all I would do is select all the 4K footage. I don't have to select the 1080 footage that I shot maybe at 60 frames per second, because that one cuts like butter. It's no problem on my machine. But if it's 4K footage, I just optimize the media, and then it creates DNxHR or HD files in HDR, so it keeps the super whites and all that great stuff. And I can edit away, and it cuts like butter. It's fantastic. You can slip and slide, move things around, scrub, and it's just great. So what happens is that time that it takes to optimize the media takes, like on this last project that I just did this morning, had 50 clips. I don't know how many minutes of actual footage it was, but it was 50 clips, and it took 16 minutes to transcode. Now, on the flip side of things, when I get to the color tab with the S-Log footage, and what I'm doing is I'm spending a ton of time, let's say in Premiere Pro, to get the look right, I could go well beyond 16 minutes, maybe half hour, 45 minutes just getting the colors right. Whereas in Resolve, I can get it right much, much faster. So it's kind of a wash. It's where I'm front loading, and I don't even have to work. I can basically go look at, music for that particular thing on like premiumbeat.com, which is a sponsor of mine. I can just go find the right track while that's transcoding, versus the flip side of things on Premiere Pro, might spend an extra half hour grading it. You might be asking, well, how stable is Resolve? And it's pretty darn stable. I would put it on par with Premiere. Over the years, Premiere crashes occasionally, not often. Resolve maybe crashes a tiny bit more, and I haven't kept heavy stats on when things crashed and why and stuff like that, but I would say just ballpark, Resolve crashed a little bit more, and I've figured out a few reasons why as I'm getting better with this program. For instance, it even says in the manual, and I didn't know, that you want to close the program before you put your computer to sleep. And a lot of times I'd wake it up, Resolve would be there, and it would have crashed. And it says right in the manual, you're not supposed to do that. So I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. So there's a lot of things to learn. And I've done very large projects in Premiere, like 6-hour courses, huge projects. And this project I'm working on right now has got, probably hours of footage in there too. And not all of it's edited, but there's 12, 14 timelines in there with tons of footage. And it's all database driven. So it's a different mindset. There's a lot of different things going on between the difference to Premiere and Resolve. One of the things I can point out too is when you load a project in Premiere, like a really large project, you're gonna wait a while for it to import. I forget what it's called, but it's on the lower right-hand corner. There's a bar that keeps flashing by like this over and over again until all the files are done. Whereas Resolve, I believe, loads a lot faster. But you get hit on Resolve when you go to a new project folder and you open up a new media folder to import information into the project. You'll take a time hit, because when you double click on that folder for the very first time and it's never seen that folder before, it takes a while for that folder to open. So there's something going on in the background, like maybe it's conforming data or conforming audio or making audio waveforms, or I don't know exactly what's going on, but I would call them almost even in terms of when you open the program. They're about the same. So that's about it. Does it feel good to actually save $40 a month? Because I've gone from $50 a month down to a $10 a month plan on Adobe. Yeah, it does. Was it a choice of money? Not really. I can afford the $50 a month for Adobe. But really what it came down to, like I said, one word, S-Log. And so there you have it. That's why I've switched from Premiere Pro to Resolve. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.